And I know we've got some other Zoo Foundation board members today here, and I want to welcome you all and thank you all for your support and everything you do for the zoo every day in our community. I also want to welcome the Oregon Zoo Bond Citizens Oversight Committee. I know we have a number of members here with us today. That Citizens Oversight Committee helps us keep focused on the goals and delivering on the goals of the bond and promises that we've made to the voters. And they ask us tough questions and make sure that we're doing all the right things at the right time. So thank you all for your support and thanks for being here today. And last but not least, I want to say thanks to the Public Art Advisory Committee that helps us with our investment in public art as we do these major investments of public money in these improvement projects throughout the zoo. And I know some of you are here today too, so thank you to the Art Advisory Committee for being here. And if I didn't acknowledge you and you're here, I just want to say again that all of you out here today are great partners of ours and are working with us in a variety of ways to make this dream come to fruition. And I want to thank you all for that work and welcome you today. And I'm going to turn it over to Grant Spickelmeyer, our Curator of Education here at the Oregon Zoo.
Thanks, Terry. I'm so thrilled to be here. I am thrilled to be here with you all to just celebrate the start of construction of this education center. When I arrived here in Oregon back in 2012, this was kind of the golden jewel that was out there, right? This is the thing that my team and I have been dreaming about and envisioning what could happen in this space since for the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm just so excited to get started on this project and take this huge step towards making it a reality. First, I have to let you know I've been advised to inform you that there will be no large birds swooping over your head during this presentation. We are in the space for Wildlife Live, and there will be a show here at 12 o'clock if you want to stick around, but there will be no birds during today's presentation. I'm sorry about that, but they don't like this kind of thing for some reason. As you look around, you may notice a few bags under people's eyes and some tired expressions on people's faces. That's because the team of zoo staff, architects, and engineers has been working around the clock to make this education center the most innovative, inspiring, and effective tool for conservation education possible. This project is the result of literally thousands of hours of work, and I want to personally thank everyone from the zoo, the Oregon Zoo Foundation, Metro, OPSIS, Jones & Jones, and all of our myriad contractors and stakeholders who've traveled with us on this journey. I don't have time to thank you all by name. I'm sorry about that. But I do want to call out one unsung hero of this project, our Zoo Bond project manager, Brent Shelby. Yes. Where are you, Brent? I don't even know where you are. See, here's you. Oh, there he is, way up there. Over the last year and a half, Brent has tirelessly wrangled zoo staff and designers. I actually put in the term unruly zoo staff, and my communications office took it out. Unruly zoo staff and designers to focus our vision, stay true to our goals, schedule, and budget, and get us safely to this event. Thank you, Brent. Now, one reason the design process has been challenging at times is that we all realize the transformational scope of what we are doing here at the zoo. To this underutilized area, we are adding 9 new educational spaces, including 4 classrooms, 2 tent pads, and a 150-seat auditorium that can be divided into 3 classroom spaces. We're also adding a new teen lounge and office space to support our Zoo Teen Volunteer Program and our Zoo Animal Presenter Program. We're adding inviting new features for zoo guests, including a cafe, restrooms, plaza, and outdoor nature play spaces. All of this should bring life to a formerly quiet part of the zoo. Most notably, we are adding more than 2,300 square feet of indoor public exhibit space called the Nature Exploration Station, or NEST. Inside the NEST, you'll find educational displays that reveal a great truth about the natural world, that small things matter. Small animals like bees, butterflies, turtles, and frogs may not be as flashy as elephants and tigers, but they are absolutely critical to the operating of our natural world. We want to draw attention to them here and discuss the work that the zoo and our partners have been doing on their behalf. We also want our visitors to learn the critical importance of small habitats and how even one tree or one wetland can be the home to dozens of species and thousands of animals. Finally, we want to inspire our visitors to join us in taking action on behalf of animals in the natural world. These don't need to be huge campaigns or life changes. Even small actions like turning off your light or waiting to buy a new cell phone can have dramatic impacts for wildlife, especially if we all do them together. And that's the message of the Nature Exploration Station. This station will encourage visitors to explore new ways to connect with nature and take action on its behalf. Now, if you got here early, you may have wandered through and grabbed a cookie and stopped by one of our activity stations. Those are just a few examples of some of the programs that will be offered in the new Education Center. And I wanted to talk and introduce them to you today. First, we have our zoo teens. Can our zoo teens wave over there? Yay, zoo teens. Now, Sprout is our zoo teen president over there. You're not the only president here, Council President Hughes, I'm sorry. We have our zoo teen president. She and her fellow teens are going to be officed in the Education Center and will staff our revitalized insect zoo. There, zoo teens will escort you into the world of the most numerous, diverse creatures on the planet. You'll be able to get an up-close look at these amazing arthropods such as tarantulas, millipedes, and cockroaches, and even touch one if you dare. Most importantly, you're hopefully going to gain new respect for these tiny friends and think twice before you reach for the bug spray. Next, we have Paul and other staff from the Metro's Property and Environmental Services Department. Paul and those folks, yeah, there you go. Yay. This team, along with several certified master gardeners, will be found in the new backyard habitat garden that will be located just outside the nest. There, they'll show you tips and tricks on how to grow food and flowers while letting insects naturally do much of the work. Kids can explore soil bugs in our new interactive dig pit, while their parents learn how to use the tiny garbage crew in a compost bin to turn kitchen scraps into rich soil. Next, we have Renee, one of our Metro Naturalists and our Metro Naturalist crew. Where are you guys? Where are they? Oh, there they are. Wave there, Renee. All right. They're shy, those Metro Naturalists. We realize we have you outside of your natural habitat here, which is normally out at one of Metro Parks or natural areas such as Oxbow Regional Park or Smith and Bybee Lakes. But the Metro Naturalists are coming here to the zoo to help connect zoo visitors with the amazing natural resources we have in the region. Our Education Center will house an Explore Nature section, which will include a large interactive map of the region. And they'll be able to look at that map, and they'll also be able to download a new app being developed by our partners, the Intertwine Alliance, called the Nature Daycation app, to help them plan their next nature exploration venture. They'll also be able to register for classes led by Renee and some of her friends up there on topics like wildlife tracking, mushroom identification, and bird language. Did you know that there is a mushroom in Oregon that smells like shrimp when you pick it up? There is. Ask Alice about it. She knows about it. It's awesome. Finally, we have our U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service friends. Where are they all sitting here? We got a bunch of them way up the top. Thank you. Pat, Jennifer, and our other service friends, the zoo just has a long history of partnering with the service and with a variety of federal and state agencies on our species conservation work. Together, we raise and release California condors, Taylor's checker spot butterflies, Columbia Basin pygmy rabbits, and western pond turtles. And now, for the first time, we're collaborating in a big way on education. The nest will include a species recovery lab where we can highlight the work taking place with western pond turtles and the partners who are helping to make this recovery possible. Even more exciting, the service has committed the full scientific and conservation education resources to help design and operate the nest. This one-of-a-kind partnership between the zoo and the service should open up a whole new world of conservation and discovery to zoo visitors. We're thrilled that U.S. Fish and Wildlife Regional Director Robin Thorson is with us here today, and we look forward to her sharing more about this important partnership. Now, there are many other partners in the room, in the space here, and I know we normally call out all the dignitaries like we did at the beginning, but I'd like to call out all the educators. Could everyone who is educator as some part of their job, whether here at the zoo or at some of the partners, just stand up right now? We have amazing conservation education resources to draw on here, and that is what really is the true potential of this space. And so we're going to be working hard. And, you know, some people have said, oh, great, your work is done, right, Grant? The construction's starting. I'm like, no, it's just starting. The work is just beginning, because now that we know what we've got, we all have to work together with our partners and figure out what we're going to be doing in this space and how we're going to use this space to greatly increase the amount of conservation education for the region and be a catalyst for conservation education. Finally, though, we need to recognize that none of this would have been possible without the amazing forward thinking and generous support that Metro Regional voters gave to the Oregon Zoo when they voted in support of the zoo bond back in 2008. The Education Center is one of the cornerstone projects of that bond, and we are so proud to deliver on that promise today. To talk a little bit more about that, I'd like to introduce Metro Council President Tom Hughes, a man who represents the Metro area voters and has a strong personal commitment to education as a former teacher himself. Tom?
Thank you, Grant. And in case you didn't pick up from Grant, the theme for today is partnerships. And this project would not go forward and would not reach its full fulfillment without the range of partners that was described here for you. Metro is the regional government. Our tagline is making a great place. And the zoo is very much a part of that, and connecting the zoo with the other elements of what Metro does is an important thing for us. It allows us to expand the degree to which we can be intentionally educational. As a teacher for 30 years, I know that the zoo provides educational opportunities for every kid who wanders through here, but being more intentional about it and connecting it with other activities and other greater programs in the world is a really key element to what this facility is going to allow us to do. I think that it's amazing that we will expand, for example, our reach to talk to people about preserving species all the way from Sabah in Malaysia, where we're working with partners to help preserve the habitat for the Borneo tree elephant, of which Chandra is a representative here at the zoo, and working as hard to restore the California condors to their habitat. None of that happens without partners. And of the partners that are involved in this project, I think the one that has stimulated the most excitement, at least amongst the staff and amongst those of us who have been following this project, is the partnership with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. And it is my pleasure today to introduce the Executive Director of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife for the Pacific Northwest, Wendy Thorson. I think I just missed that. No, Robin Thorson. I knew I would. Did you? You look like a Wendy, Robin. Robin has been director of the Northwest or of the Pacific region for U.S. Fish and Wildlife since 2008. So she got that job the same year that we passed the bond levy. So there's this kind of cosmic connection between Robin and the projects here at the zoo. She currently, as I say, is the director for the Pacific region, which includes Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Hawaii, and the Pacific Islands. Does that include American Samoa? Ooh. Now there's some conservation I'd like to play a part in. Prior to that, she joined the service in 1985, has worked in the Southwest, Midwest region, Alaska, had a home office back in D.C., and now has come home to the Pacific region. She is a native of Seattle. Somewhere along the way, she came out of the darkness, saw the light, and got her law degree from the University of Oregon. And so we're very happy about that. But it is my great pleasure to introduce to you today Robin Thorson. Thank you.
As a matter of fact, I arrived here for this job on election night in November 2008. So I did pass the bond measure. I can take no credit for that and little credit for this accomplishment today. I'm looking forward to sharing in my remarks those who are to be appropriately credited. It is a really great job to have for anyone when you get up in the morning and you say to yourself, oh, I have to go to the zoo to get my job done. For those of you who work here, I realize that you have that privilege frequently. I'm so honored to be here today for this groundbreaking of the new Education Center, representing the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service all across the nation, not just in our region and not just here in Oregon. Engaging urban communities is now one of the top priorities of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and you know why. 80% of Americans live in urban or the shadow of urban areas. So people just aren't outdoors the way they used to be. And for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service that cares about wildlife and habitat, what does that mean? Well, we used to be at our desks, or we would be in wild places working ourselves. But with an increasingly urban public, maybe that's not where we can be doing our work and engage. And when I say increasingly urban, I mean that they might not go outside, and it's a public that's wired. They might be in their pajamas drinking coffee, but they go online and they think they're a wildlife biologist. So we have a publicly engaged but wildlife and outdoors disengaged constituency. And as a public agency, we know we need to bring wildlife to people. We can't wait for people to just come to wild areas and begin to appreciate wildlife. So zoos play such an important role in our national culture, introducing so many people to that first interface with wildlife, a starting point that they might otherwise lack in making a broader connection to nature. We can't expect people to care about a species in another part of the world or in their own backyard, bugs and butterflies, if they don't feel at home among plants and animals. The zoo is a stepping stone for that incredible journey. For the Fish and Wildlife Service, whose mission is wildlife and habitat, we know that people will conserve what they care about. Who will help them care? You will, at a zoo. And now we are so pleased to be a partner in that because it helps us achieve our mission. The service has a lot to bring to this effort. We're very proud. Our agency is made up of a number of programs. I don't know why you've heard of us, but it could be for many reasons. We work nationally and internationally. We were most recently in the news because of Cecil the lion. We're conserving wildlife and natural resources on so many levels. Our programs include the National Wildlife Refuge System, and you're bookended by those in the greater Portland area, Tualatin River to the south and Ridgefield to the north and Steigerwald upriver. But we have over 550 national wildlife refuges nationwide, and I just have to brag that that is more acreage and more conservation units than the national park system are. So, sorry. We are somewhat unheralded as the conservation land manager because our constituency visiting those places is usually wildlife and not so often people. And once again, and a really important reason that we're partnering with the zoo. So I mentioned the National Wildlife Refuge System, and we have an effort in Greater Portland for an urban refuge focus. So you'll hear about us on many levels in addition to here at the zoo. We also administer the Endangered Species Act, the conservation of threatened and endangered species in order to recover them. We have an international affairs program. We have law enforcement that addresses enterprise crime, specifically now to intercept and stop illegal trade in wildlife parts. We have our fisheries program in rivers and at our national fish hatcheries. And then the backbone of the service, we first started with the passage of the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. So migratory birds and the exchange between states, that's at the heart of what the Fish and Wildlife Service cares about. And the nation started to galvanize its care for wildlife by addressing migratory birds. So we've got a lot of expertise, we've got a lot of people, and we love partnerships. And that's what we're bringing to the zoo. Not only are we physically breaking ground here today, but the service is also breaking ground in conservation education. Traditionally, the service connects with people at our own facilities. I mentioned ref and hatcheries, but here we're developing a new kind of site. We've been calling it the Oregon Zoo Field Station. For us, that means meeting people here in a major urban area. And by having Fish and Wildlife Service staff physically located at the education center, part of the nest, and bringing in a variety of our specialists, biologists, wildfire experts, wildlife experts, forensic scientists, the CSI of wildlife. We have that lab. We'll directly engage with visitors on how and where they can experience nature, as well as take action to protect their natural world. Again, helping people care so that they will conserve. This idea of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service working closely with the zoo to engage on conservation seems like such a natural collaboration, as young people might say, a no-brainer. And this partnership is born out of a huge mutual benefit that in hindsight seems so obvious and elegant. It's amazing to find we are on the cutting edge of this idea. And then again, pioneering is kind of the Oregon way. This is a first for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. We are so excited and we are so honored to be part of it. I am the suit for the Fish and Wildlife Service. Somebody had this idea, partnered with the zoo on a regular basis, saw this opportunity, heard what the zoo is thinking about it, and that Grant described so enthusiastically and eloquently, and said, we'll be there. It's a new way of doing business, and we'll be there. His name is Paul Henson. And when we cut to the groundbreaking, he'll be the person holding the shovel for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. He's in the back there, Paul Henson. So in closing, with this new Oregon Zoo Field Station of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, housed at the Oregon Zoo Education Center, we have a shared conservation message that we think we can help spread far and wide and help accomplish a wildlife and habitat conservation mission. Thank you for all being here today. I loved seeing all the educators stand up. That was so great. And singling out so many elements that contribute here at the zoo, in the governance for our community, and in supporting the bond and maintaining the bond. But before I hand this back to Grant, I just want to take the opportunity to commend him for his real embrace of the partnership with us. And the enthusiasm that was obvious when he spoke, it's really infectious at many levels. He spoke about how small things matter, and they do. But big things matter too, and today this is big. Grant, you did a great job. We're proud to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Robin. I'm now get the pleasure of introducing someone else who's very important to this project. Kim Overhage is the chair of the Oregon Zoo Foundation Board of Trustees. She's been a zoo member for over 25 years and has personally connected with several education programs here at the zoo and has been a great supporter of the Education Center project. Kim?
Okay, so first of all, I cannot believe my luck. I was present at the first bond project with the groundbreaking of the vet center. I got to be present at the groundbreaking of the condors. I got to be present at the groundbreaking of the elephants, truly near and dear to my heart, those of you that know me. But now I get to be present at the groundbreaking of this. And this is really an incredibly, totally wonderful moment. And to make this moment happen, I can't go any further without just saying thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of our region's voters for passing that bond. Your small vote, every one of us made one little circle on that ballot. That made an enormous impact, all of us working together so that we could have this day to day. So I just want to say thank you, because that's going to impact our future 1.6 million visitors that are going to come in 2017 and in 2018 and in 2025, et cetera. Small things matter. Working together, we create something really big. We on the Oregon Zoo Foundation Board believe very, very strongly in this vision of creating a world-class conservation center that actively engages our community. And so I'm actually very excited to be able to announce today that the Oregon Zoo Foundation is launching a $1.47 million education campaign to enhance the bond funds in support of this vision of a world-class conservation education center. So what's in the $1.47 million? Yeah, we're really excited on the board. Well, first off, we're going to expand education programming and outreach to our community through Zoo Animal Presenters Program and several others. Helps people who may not normally be involved with the zoo to have the opportunity to change their lives. Second, we have our zoo teens. And this is going to create a real area for our volunteer zoo teens to collaborate and to prepare to teach our zoo visitors. It's also going to create important things like showers. We love working with elephants. Your parents don't always love you working with elephants if you don't have showers. So simple little things like that, small things matter, and that's one of the types of things that we're going to be putting in this bond as well. From a teaching standpoint, we're going to be outfitting classrooms with science tools and with technology so that we can enable teaching to go even better. And we're going to create a lot of interpretives for hands-on learning, things that might be a forest discovery activity station, might be a sustainability cockpit. You heard Grant talk about a lot of other types of things that are being envisioned right now that are very, very exciting. So now the question is, somebody said, please talk about why the Education Center matters to you, Kim. Well, I've actually been an education volunteer in Beaverton for 3 decades now. Yeah, you can start calculating. That makes me old. But for me, education, I actually was an education volunteer before I was an animal welfare volunteer here at the zoo about 10 years ago, coming in and getting involved with that. The reason why is that I believe strongly that learning should be fun and it should be exciting. And when it is fun and exciting, those are the lessons that stick with you forever. Going through. My kids, they went to zoo camp here, along with a lot of other kids. They loved their experiences. How do we know? Well, family dinner table every night. I got to hold a snake today, Mom. I got to pet a bunny. Ew, they made us look at spiders. Those kinds of things. Those lessons really stuck. But I thought, okay, that was a 1-week zoo camp experience, right? Well, then the next week when the kids were home, I asked them what they were doing. They'd taken over one of the kitchen cabinets. They created a recycling center, completely revamped how we handled trash in our household. We have that recycling center to this day. So a small thing like a zoo camp turned into a big thing for our family. That initiative, one small household, small things matter. Now imagine we take those kind of teaching to the 1.6 million visitors a year. That's a lot of households. Small things matter turns turns into big things that have impact and can help really change our planet, which is what this is all about. So I hope you'll consider joining all of us on the Zoo Foundation board and creating this legacy of education. And I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today on this incredible, exciting day. Thanks. Grant?
All right. First, I have to correct a problem. I realized I don't think I recognized the zoo animal presenters out in the crowd in my earlier talk. So Ariel and Jose and Ward, can you wave up there? They are also going to be sharing in the new teen space. And that program, for those of you who don't know, you can have me come out for coffee later and I'll talk to you about that program for about 3 hours. But it's a fabulous 3-year internship program here at the zoo, and we're excited to have them get a new home and out of their little dungeon office downstairs. So that's another exciting program. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little hot. I don't have as much coverage up here anymore for this kind of sun, so we're going to do a groundbreaking ceremony here, and I'm going to ask those of you who are going to be shovel holders to come on down. The rest of you stay seated here.
Now if you'd like to walk over, you can walk over. Dad will have to get something.
Okay, go ahead and take the shovelful. Go up there tight. Dig in. There you go. Dirt.